From underneath Howard Cosell's toupee, deep inside his nasal cavity, and can I just say, yuck. This is Kurt Berglund with a triple play baseball full game demo to go over not only how triple play works, but also try and cover all of the elements of the game that a typical game would have you do so that you can make an informed purchasing decision about this game. The teams, the 1980 Philadelphia Phillies will be visiting the 1980 Houston Astros in the Astrodome. And we're going to go through the lineups and talk about the pitchers and get the game rolling. But if time gets long, I'm going to divide this into two separate parts so that you can see both parts at your leisure. So we'll see how the game progresses. But my sense is that I will probably be making the rest of the game a second video somewhere around the 4th or 5th inning, but we'll see how that goes. So, with no further ado, let's get to the lineups and pregame preparation. For the visiting Philadelphia Phillies, world champs in 1980, leading off at first base is Pete Rose. Batting second in right field, it's Bake McBride. Batting third at third base, it's Mike Schmidt. Batting fourth in left field, it's Greg Luzinski. Batting fifth in center field, Gary Maddox. Batting sixth at second base, Manny Trio. Batting seventh at catching, Bob Boone. And batting eighth and playing shortstop, it's Larry Boa. On the mound will be Dick Ruthven, a right-hander, the number 2 starter, I guess you'd say, for the 1980 Phillies. On a triple play baseball card, all the stats are at the bottom. He was 17-10 in 1980 in 33 starts. He pitched 223 innings with a 3.55 earned run average. Dick Ruthven, a right-hander. For the homestanding Houston Astros, leading off at second base, Joe Morgan. Batting second in right field, it's Terry Poole. Batting third in left field, Jose Cruz. Batting fourth in center field, Cesar Cedeno. Batting fifth at first base, Art Howe. Batting sixth at third base, Enos Cabell. Batting seventh and doing the catching, Alan Ashby. And batting eighth and playing shortstop, it's Craig Reynolds. On the mound for the homestanding Astros today is Vern Ruhle. Ruhle was 12-4 in 1980, 22 starts, 159 and a third innings pitched, and a 2.37 earned run average. He was a right-hander and took over in the starting rotation after J.R. Richards' stroke early in the season. Okay, so we are ready to go. We have the Astrodome weather check already completed for us because we're in a dome. The weather in the Astrodome is cool with no wind. So we'll get Ruhle on the mound, and there's Pete Rose, and we are ready to go with the first inning of this demo. Red, white, and blue dice, here we go. 492 to get the game started is on Pete Rose's card against a right-handed pitcher. Is an easy fly to center field, and we are underway with the first out in the first inning, 1 gone. Next, it's Bake McBride. Bake hit 309. 561 would put us on Ruhle's card in the left-handed batter column. This is an infield range check. So let's get our range check chart out. Got to be careful how you say that. And here we go. All right, so McBride is an LSP type of hitter, and that tells us the column that we're going to look at. We re-roll with 2 dice. The LSP column is right here. We roll 2 dice, and we have a 14. The 14 tells us that it's in the hole to first base. Well, what does that mean? All right, so now we are on AstroTurf in the Astrodome, of course. So we look at the turf chart and we look at in the hole. But to do that, we need to look at Art Howe's range. So we look at his range, which is average, AV, next to his first base rating, which is where he's playing today. And we re-roll. So we are in the average column, in the hole, average, and we rolled an 88. The 88 is gets past, goes past. Now we look at our key for what goes past means. And right here it tells us goes past is a hot smash that goes past the fielder for a single. Runners advance 2 bases. We don't have any of those. And that is that's all we need to know. So it's a single with 2 base advance. Even though there's nobody on, McBride is aboard with a base hit. And he's at first base. Now, we check his speed, which is an 8, and his steal, which is a 6. So we could send him, but Mike Schmidt is coming to bat, and I have a thing about sending base runners when Mike Schmidt's coming to bat, so we're not going to do that. So McBride is at first with 1 out, and the pitch from Ruhle is a 626. A 626 puts us versus right-handers. Easy fly to center field, and that's 2 gone now. And now it's the bold Greg Luzinski coming to the plate. And now we might think about a stolen base. Although this wasn't, the bull is also, of course, or was also, of course, a tremendous power hitter. We're going to see what we can do about getting a jump. All right, so we're back to McBride's card to do this. And the first thing we need to do is to determine whether we get a jump. So McBride for his jump is a 2. And so we look there. And Vern Ruhle for the hold is a 2. All right. So we have a 2, and this is the jump chart for the game. It's right here, jump chart. And so we have a 2 hold and a 2 steal. 2 jump rating. And now we roll our 2 dice. And it's a 15. And it's attempts. All right, so he gets a good jump, and he's going to attempt the steal. All right, now we go to the stealing chart. Now to steal, this is the stealing chart, and we know this because it says stealing chart. All right, so we're going to steal second, and Bake McBride's steal rating, as we see right there, is a 6. And we're going to look at Bob Boone's throwing. I'm sorry, we're not going to look at Bob Boone's throwing. We're going to look at Alan Ashby's throwing. And his throwing is a +1. And we see that up here on his defense. Alrighty. So, to steal second, we have a +1. We have a 2 base runner with a +1 going. So this is our column. And there's our roll, 30. And it falls between 3 and 39, and that is a stolen base. So Bake McBride steals second off of the hold of Vern Ruhle and the throwing arm of Alan Ashby, which brings, so Luzinski takes the pitch, McBride steals, and McBride is now at second base with 2 outs in the first inning. Now the Bulls going to try and drive him in. Pitch from Ruhle is a 7:05. A 7:05 is an easy fly to left field, and Jose Cruz is going to take it, and that will retire the Phillies in the first inning. We got 1 inning done, or half inning done. So we go to the bottom of the first, and it's Joe Morgan, Terry Poole, and Jose Cruz coming up against Dick Ruthven. Here's Morgan's card, and we're rolling dice. 450 is the roll, 450. We look in the right-hand batter's column. 450 is an easy fly to center field, where Gary Maddox makes the catch for the first out. And now it's Terry Poole coming to the plate. $188, as I got dice rolling everywhere. $188 is a short fly to center field, Maddox again. And now Jose Cruz with 2 outs and nobody aboard for the Astros in the first. $342 is a walk. So Ruthven walks Cruz with 2 outs. Jose is aboard. He could go, and I think we're going to do that. So with 2 outs and Cedeno coming to the plate, we're going to do a steal one more time. A steal attempt. See if he gets the jump. All right, so Ruthven's hold rating is a 1. And Cruz's jump rating is a 5. So let's see what that looks like on the jump chart. Hold rating is a 1. Jump rating is a 5. So this is the column we're looking at. The roll is a 45. And he attempts. So he falls within 5 and 57, and so he gets the attempts. All right, and now we go to the steal rating, which is an 8 for Jose. And the steal rating of the catcher, throwing rating of the catcher, Bob Boone, is a 0. So Jose is going. And he's an 8. So we're going to roll the dice. And there he goes. And it's an 09 that we rolled. If you look at the 8, 09 falls between 3 and 69, which means it's a stolen base for Jose Cruz. And so we have a pair of stolen bases early in this game as Cruz steals second. And now he's in scoring position for Astros center fielder Cesar Cedeno. Ruthven's pitch is an 8-17, and this is deep. All right, so we have a deep, 8-17 falls in this range here. So we need our deep chart. Here it is. All right. Now, number of things we have to look at here. First, we look at the power of Cesar Cedeno. His power versus righties is a 2, so the column that we're looking at is right here. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is to roll 2 10-sided and see where we end up here. It's a 20, and a 20 is a distance of 3 on a 2 power hitter. All right, so this goes, no, I'm wrong. It's a distance of a 3. All right. Now, Cedeno is an RSP batter. So now we roll 1 10-sided and see which direction this is going in. Seven. It is to center field, so there's no chance of it being foul. We have no wind, so there's no modifier there. We don't cross. We don't have opposite-handed. We don't have a platoon advantage. All right. So now we look at Houston, which is where we are, and center field. So that is a 52. So it takes quite a poke to get it out of there. All right. Now, in the lower left corner here, it tells us roll 2 dice for deep. If the number is greater than the distance needed, the result is a home run. If the result is equal to the distance needed, the homer may be robbed. Go to the robbed chart. If the number is less than the distance needed, runners on second and third advance, runner on first may attempt to advance. All right, so what this is a long fly out to Gary Maddox in deep center field in the Astrodome where fly balls went to die. And so Cedeno makes the third out of the first inning. And Gary Maddox, by making all 3 putouts, ties a record held by many. And we go to the second inning, and we are scoreless in Houston. Here comes Vern Ruhle back out. And now it's Gary Maddox, Manny Trio, and Bob Boone coming to the plate. The pitch to Maddox from Ruhle is a 906. 906 is an easy fly to center field unless he's tired. Well, he's not tired yet because Vern Ruhle's stamina is 27, and we're not near there. So a 906 is an easy fly to center field, and Cedeno takes that one for out number 1. Ready. Now, as long as we're in the neighborhood here, all right. For a minute about what would have happened if Ruhle was tired. We have a chart here which tells us on some of the codes what to do. And so we have an easy fly, EF, tired, which is what we rolled. If he was exhausted, we have a deep drive chance. Do not adjust further. Non-tired pitcher, easy flies. So that would be the consequence if Ruhle was tired. Okay, and I'm sure we're going to come across that later in the game. Manny Trio comes up with one out in the top of the second. .069 is our roll, and that's an error chance. All right. So to do an error chance, we refer to the error chart. The first thing we have to do is to determine who may have goofed. All right. So we roll a 10-sided, and the error chance is on the second baseman. Second baseman for Houston is, of course, Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan's error rating is a 17. So that's where we're going to look, under second base on a 17. So this is our column right here, and we roll 2 D10s. 83 is an RG plus. An RG plus, runner on first and out at second with a chance of a double play. Well, we don't have that. We just have a good old throw out at first base where Morgan throws to Howe for the force out. But we would have a double play chance for Morgan if there was a runner on first. So there's 2 gone now. That resolves the error check. And now it's Bob Boone with 2 on it, with 2 outs and nobody on. It's a 440, which for Booney is a fly ball center field, easy fly, and Cedeno catches that, and there's 3 outs. All right, so we go to the bottom of the second now. Here comes Ruthven back out for another shot at the Astros. We've had 2 stolen bases. We've resolved an error check. We've had a deep drive. So we're kind of getting through everything, all the pieces to the triple play game. The pitch to Art Howe is a 602. A 602 is in this column. It's an easy fly to center field, and there's 1 down in the second. Now it's Enos Cabell. Third baseman for the Astros gets a 308. That's on Enos's card. And that is a strikeout. So Ruthven gets him, probably on that breaking ball that he threw. And next it's Alan Ashby. 2 outs, nobody aboard for the Astros catcher. 661. 661 is a ground ball base hit to center field. Ashby's aboard with a single, and that's the first hit for the Astros in the game. So with 2 outs and a man at first, it'll be Craig Reynolds. Ashby is not fast, and so we're not going to send him anywhere. The pitch to Reynolds is a 577. And a 577 is an outfield range check. All right. Don't believe we've done one of those as yet in this ball game. So here's our range check for the outfield. Craig Reynolds is an LSP batter, so that's our column that we're looking at here. We're going to roll 2 dice, 2 D10s, and they get a 53. It's a Texas leaguer. 50 to 58. We rolled a 53. It's a Texas leaguer to center field. We're on turf. So we're going to look up Gary Maddox's range rating. And his range rating is VG, very good. So that's our column that we're going to look at, is a Texas leaguer with a VG range rating. And so we're going to roll 2 D10s and get a 96. And it falls in. Now, what does that tell us? Well, now we look at the key. On grass, no, we're not on grass. We're on turf. We're in the Astrodome. On turf, the ball takes a high bounce on the turf. The batter singles, may attempt to stretch into a double. The runners advance 2 bases. All right, so let's try that so that we see how that would look. Okay. This is our base runner advancement chart for triple play baseball. First, we're going to look up Reynolds' speed to see if he should okay. So the key thing is his speed number, which is 8. Okay, so that's base runner advancement. I want to make sure I've got the right charts. Here we go. Here we go. Nope, got the wrong chart. Here we go. All right. We have a number of adjustments, none of which apply here. We have a runner of an 8 trying to advance, and we're going to roll 2 D10s. And so we're going to do that now. Ashby is safe at third. Reynolds is trying to advance to second because the ball gave Maddox a high hop in center field. And we roll a 20. We roll a 10. 2 plus 8 is a 10. And he's an 8, which falls between 5 and 13. And that means Reynolds is safe with a high hop double to Maddox in center field. So now there's runners on second and third, and that's how you resolve those. You look at the sending runners chart, find your speed rating, and then roll 2 D10s and add them. All right. Now it's Ruhle. Ruhle is a 5 on the batter's card. 2 outs, Ashby at third, Reynolds at second. The pitch to Vern. 8:42 gives us an easy fly to center field unless he's tired, but Ruthven has 33 stamina, and this is his 9th batter. So it's a fly out to center field, and the Astros, although they put 2 runners in scoring position, fail to score in the second. So we go to the top of the third, and there's no score. Ruhle back on the mound. Larry Boa, Dick Ruthven, and Pete Rose coming up for Philly. Pitch to Larry is a 0.98. That is a park effect. All right. So here's our ballpark effects chart. National League ballpark effects. We are in Houston. Larry Boa is a left-handed batter against Vern Ruhle, and he is a left-handed batter. So we're gonna roll 2d10s, and we get a 68, which puts us in an error check. An error check on our ballpark effects. And here's our error chart. We're gonna roll again. Four is a second base error check. Morgan's is 17. We know that because we checked before. Now we roll. It's a 60. And it's the same outcome as before. Morgan makes the play to first. So it's a 4-3 put out on the ballpark effects. Now it's Ruthven with 1 out and nobody aboard. Ruthven is also a 5. 480 on the roll gives us a strikeout against the right-hander Ruhle. So there's 2 gone, and now Pete Rose in the top of the 3rd with 2 outs and nobody aboard faces Ruhle. This is a 3-23, which is a walk to Rose in his second at bat. So he's aboard now for McBride, who singled and stole second in the first inning. Pitch to Bake, 885 is a fly out to center, but not if he's tired, and Ruhle is not tired, so we don't have to worry about that. He's 11 batters into his stint. All right, so we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and we're still scoreless in Houston. And now it's Ruthven facing the top of the Houston order, Morgan, Poole, and Cruz. Pitch from Ruthven is a 4-15. That's a fly out to center. Poole. .159 is a base hit for Poole. Falls into the single range. He's aboard. Now we could send him as well. And I think we're going to let Cruz take a whack at it. 1 out, 1 on. 7-13 is a range check for the 3rd baseman. So this goes to Schmidt. We have an infield range check. Cruz is an LSP. And we are on turf, and Schmidt's range is a VG. .35, we're in the hole. It's a diving stop for Schmidt. And a diving stop means that the batter is out at first and the runners advance 1 base. So Poole gets to second and the out is made at first. And now it's Cedeno with 2 outs and Poole in scoring position against Ruthven. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Pitch to Cesar is a 272. And a 272 is a base on balls, so he walks Cedeno. 2 on now for Howe. Ruthven in a little bit of a jam. 2 on, 2 outs for Art. The pitch is a 230. A 230 to Howe is a range check for the second baseman. And the second baseman is Trio, of course. His range is SP. And we're still on turf. And that's a 52, a diving stop for Trio. He gets up, he throws to Rose, and that retires the Phillies in the third. We go to the fourth. And now it's Schmidt, Luzinski, and Maddox, the meat of the order for Philadelphia. Against Ruhle, who's faced 11 hitters so far. So the pitch to Schmidt is a 421, and that is a strike 3 swinging, 1 gone. And now the bull. Second strikeout for Ruhle. 244 for the bull is a walk. 1 out, 1 on. Luzinski, no threat to steal. Maddox, 980. Double play grounder to shortstop. That's a 6-4-3 soul-crushing, rally-killing double play. All right, now in the bottom of the fourth, it's Cabell, Ashby, and Reynolds for Houston. Pitch to Enos, 1-1-4, is a base hit. He's aboard with a single. And I'll bring up Ashby. Now, he could bunt. He's a 3 bunter. But that sets up Reynolds and Ruhle to get base hits, and they're not going to believe in that. So they're going to let Allen try and hit. 748 is a slow grounder to shortstop. No, wait, left-handed batter. Slow grounder to second base. And now we look at our ground ball chart, or ground ball key, I should say. A soft grounder. Runner on first, batter out at first, runner advances 1 base. So it's a 4-3 put out for Trio to Rose, and that moves Cabell up. The same effect as a sacrifice. Craig Reynolds comes to the plate. Cabell now at second. And Vern Ruhle on deck. Pitch from Ruthven is a 440. That's an easy fly to center field. And now it'll be Ruhle. Pitch from Ruthven is an 890. And 890 is a strikeout unless he's tired, but he's not tired, so it's a strikeout. And that's Ruthven's second strikeout on the game. That retires the Astros in the fourth. We go to the fifth. And it'll be Trio, Boone, and Boa for Philly against Ruhle. Pitch to Manny. 623 is an easy fly to center. 1 gone. Boone. .805 is a soft grounder to shortstop. Craig Reynolds makes the play to Art Howe, and there's two gone. And now it's Boa. 0-16. That's an error check. And here's our error chart. Okay, so we roll a 1 die to determine who's getting checked, and it's the second baseman one more time. This is Joe Morgan. He's a 17. 39 is a putout. Yep, 39 is a putout, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3. In the fifth, we're halfway home with no score in the Astrodome. Bottom of the fifth, top of the Astros order, Morgan, Poole, and Cruz against Ruthven, who is starting his third time through the order. 19th batter. The pitch to Joe is an 8:45. An 8:45 is a flyout. Poole, 3:31 is a walk. Nope, it's not. It's a strikeout. 3:31 is a strikeout to Terry Poole, from Terry Poole. Okay. And next it's Cruz, Jose Cruz. 6:33 for Jose is a regular grounder to to second base. So he's retired 4-3 trio to Rose. That retires the Astros in the fifth. Ruthven leads off in the Phillies' sixth. Then we go to the top with Rose. 3:46 is a strikeout. And now it's Pete. Ruhle's third time through the order starts now, so he's up to batter 19. 5:10 is a wild pitch. That's nothing. No base runners. 0-0-0 is a crazy play, and I also think it might be something else as well. I don't think it's anything else, so we're going to just re-roll for the crazy play. It is a 895 on the crazy play, so we look at our crazy play chart. Double goes up the middle for a grounder, and a second baseman, goes up the middle for a grounder and fires to first to get the batter, but steps on his glove after the throw, so we have to check. for an injury. So Rose grounds out to Morgan. And then Joe steps on his glove. So let's do an injury check. I just had it. Here it is. Injury chart. Joe Morgan's injury rating. We look here and it's a 4 for Joe Morgan. So this is our injury check column. 2 dice. 21. And it's nothing. 21 is nothing for a 4, 0 days. He's okay. He's shaken up. He stays in the game. He walks it off. Okay, 2 down. In the top of the 6th for Bake McBride against Ruhle. 191 for Bake is a double play grounder to shortstop against the right-handed pitcher, but there's nobody on first, so that's just the 3rd out of the inning. And that retires the Phillies. We're still scoreless through 5.5 in Houston. 1 run would mean a whole lot, as you can tell, in the Astrodome. So, Cedeno, Howe, and Cabell in the bottom of the 6th. 569 for Ruthven is an outfield range check. Here's our outfield range chart. Cedeno is an RSP, and he is at bat. So we look at the RSP column on range, and it's a 49. That's a Texas leaguer into center field? Maybe. Maddox, as we saw before, his range is VG. So we have a Texas leaguer with a VG, and the roll is a 35, and that's a running catch for Gary Maddox. We have 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Art Howe. $584 is a range check for the outfield. We're back there again. Got our chart handy. Art Howe is an RSP hitter. There's our column. And an 11. This is over the head of the right fielder. So we're on turf. It's over the head. The right fielder is Bake McBride. Bake McBride's range is average AV. And now we roll. So over the head is here. AV is here. And it's a 96, which is off the wall. The batter doubles if the ball is hit to left field or right field and can stretch. Now there's 1 out. Art Howe would love to get to third base with 1 man out. So let's check Art Howe. So he's rounding second, and he's picking up that third base coach. His speed is a 6. He's safe on a 1, safe plus on a 1. He's safe on a 2 to 3. He's safe 4 to 10. Good things happen till 12. Oh, man. They're not going to risk that. So Howe is going to settle for a double. We've already done the extra base attempt with Craig Reynolds earlier in the game, so you saw that works. So now it's Cabell with Ruthven in a jam. Howe on second base with 1 man out, and Cabell hoping to drive him in. Pitch to Enos. 686. Easy fly, left field. Luzinski comes on and makes the catch. Howe will hold. And that'll bring up Ashby with Reynolds on deck. And 2 outs. 290. A 290 is a walk. He walks Ashby. Now we're paying attention now because Ruthven's stamina is a 33, and he just pitched to batter number 26. So he can get tired here in a hurry, but I'm going to leave him in to face Reynolds. Craig is 1 for 2 with a double, a leg double in the second inning. Ruhle is on deck, but first base is not open, so walking him really isn't an option, even for Dallas Green, who walked a whole lot of people. It's a 9-0-4 against the left-handed batting Reynolds. That's a walk, and the bases are now dripping with Astros. So now, it's part of the calculation here. Vern Ruhle has a stamina of 27. He can become tired. He doesn't have to become tired, but he can become tired after that. He has faced 20 batters. It's the bottom of the 6th, and there's 2 men out. And these are the decisions I hate. Okay, so let's look here. We're going to call that a day for Vern Ruhle. And Bill Verdon's going to go to his bench and use Denny Walling to pinch hit for Ruhle. So Walling pinch hits. The Astros have Howe at third, Ashby at second, and Reynolds at first. Dick Ruthven in a jam. He's up to batter number 27. And I think the Phillies are going to get some action going in the bullpen. Kevin Soche is going to start throwing, and so is Dickie Knowles. Lefty and a righty for double-barreled action. Walling at the plate. Nowhere to put him. 2 men out. The pitch to Denny is a 233. A 231, he goes deep, but this is a regular grounder to shortstop, and Boa goes the short way to Trio to retire the side. So 1 more biscuit for breakfast, and Denny Walling goes deep, but he does not. And we go to the 7th with no score in Houston. What that inning did do, however, is get Dick Ruthven a whole lot closer to his fatigue number. All right, the Astros need a new pitcher. Ruhle went 6 innings. He allowed no runs. He gave up only 1 hit, and he struck out three batters. He walked 2. And he will get no decision from this game. So, the new pitcher, what the heck? It's gonna be Joaquin Andujar, who's a short reliever. Now, a short reliever gets a fatigue number of 11. So Andujar is on. And he will bat in the 9th spot in the order. And he will face Schmidt, Luzinski, and Maddox. Pitch from Joaquin to Mike Schmidt is an 8-27. And that is a flyout. 1 gone. Luzinski. 449 is a flyout. Nope, I'm wrong. 449 is a ground out to second base, 4-3. And with 2 outs and nobody aboard, it's Maddox. And Joaquin, 561, is a range check for the outfield. Maddox is an RSP batter. So there's our column. 21 is Into the Gap. I think that was an album. Who did that? Into the Gap. Can't remember. But that's an album. Somebody made that album. Into the Gap in right field is Terry Poole. Terry Poole's range is a VG, so we got Into the Gap here. 83 is To the Wall. Now we look at our key. To the Wall, better doubles, all runners score. So Gary Maddox gets a 2-out double and puts himself in scoring position for Manny Trio in the top of the 7th. Andujar in a jam. Joaquin goes to the belt and delivers. It's a 4-4-2, and this one is a flyout, and that retires the Phillies in the 7th. It's time to stretch them out in Houston. We got no score. What we do have is the top of the order for Houston in the bottom of the 7th. It's Morgan, Poole, and Cruz. 0 for 3.